So are you guys ready for a 90-minute commercial about Nintendo? Because I am. I actually really like this movie. Let's check out The Wizard.
And so we open with our main character, or at least the one I like, trying to escape the movie. And for some weird reason, they're sending a plane after him. I mean, this isn't the island of Dr. Moreau. We don't need to worry about our characters just trying to flee the film and escape back to the United States, but, okay. You don't really know how far Jimmy's made it, but obviously he's been gone long enough for them to send the cops and for, them to send their search planes after him. It's kind of weird.
So after that weird scene where Jimmy's trying to, I guess, run away, but he's not really all that motivated to run away because he's just walking, we get a lot of stuff dropped on us about how, they had lost their sister, they're split between two different families, there's like a joint custody thing going on, and then Fred Savage and Jimmy go on a cross-country trip. This is a buddy movie, and it's a pretty fun one.
So Jimmy tries to escape the movie again because Fred's apparently not paying any attention to this. I know his character has another name, but I'm just going to keep calling him Fred because I feel like it. We get the montage of them going away and everything. It's kind of fun to watch them do this. I'm not sure why the planes haven't been sent out after them. Maybe people in this family only really care about Jimmy. Now, granted, they do make the same mistake as Lord of the Rings and set a fire, but that doesn't really matter here. We do eventually get this wonderful scene where they apparently have never been taught the value of money, which, fair enough, because they try to make it to Los Angeles with like $30. And even back in 1989, that wasn't going to happen. They also find out that Jimmy's really good at video games. For some reason. It's never really explained why he's good at video games, but he is. Fair enough. And this comes into play later on as they try to make their way across the U.S.
So while we're following the kids, we also have the dad, the older son, and then the creepy dude who I feel should have been arrested. He's one of these people that goes and finds runaway kids, which I didn't know was a job, and I don't think this guy should be doing it, because he already looks like the person that your parents would tell you, hey, stay away from this person. Like, this is a picture of the guy that you should not be around. And I feel like he probably owns a panel van and also picks up children when he's not doing his job.
If I could give one bit of criticism here, and I'll bring this up later, this movie has way too much going on in it. If they had just stuck with the kids, it would have been fine, but no, we get this subplot here of the jackass who's trying to re-kidnap Jimmy, I think, and he's running around just being a dick and harassing the dad and the older son and whatnot. It's really annoying. It does give us this fight scene, though, which I thought was kind of funny. After the dickhead, he slashes their tires, kind of. Then, obviously the logical thing is to bash his car up, and this dude just sits here and waits, like he doesn't drive away. God, this is such a weird scene, but I love it so much. It's like the fight scene in They Live. I just love it.
So after the fight, we get some more of the kids kind of doing their cross-country trip, and they start basically gambling on arcade games. I didn't know this was a thing that you could do. I mean, I remember doing it when we went to an arcade in Chicago and we needed to get some gas money to get back home. But I didn't know that it was a real thing like that. Actually tell me if you've ever done gambling on arcades, please let me know in the comments, because this seemed really odd. I mean, yeah, it's one of those weird things. I remember doing it, but I didn't think it was done way back in the 80s. It could have been, but, whatever. I'm just rambling. Let's move on to the next thing.
And then next thing is our heroes flashing their cash around like just the stupid kids that they are, which actually kind of makes sense. And then these two guys decide to beat them up and steal their what looks like about $17. Seriously, like it was a bunch of ones and a 5. I'm not making this up, am I? But yeah, so these two guys steal their money and then they're kind of back to square one again. So after our heroes lose all their money, we are introduced to simultaneously the best and the most pointless villain in this, Lucas. Because this movie, it thought that there was going to be an internet one day, and that internet was going to need memes. So it gave us Lucas and his power glove. Yeah. Sure, why not? I'm glad he's in this movie. He doesn't need to be here, but I'm glad he's here. Because he can say this.
I love the power glove. It's so bad.
Yeah, well, just keep your power gloves off her, pal, huh?
I'm sorry, I just need to stop for a second. The looks that they give Fred Savage after he says that are just amazing. I mean, Lucas is just giving him a, really? Is that, what the hell are you talking about? And Jimmy's staring at him like, it's not going to work out for you, buddy. I wish this entire movie had been just Jimmy and Fred Savage going across the country. But I'm so glad that one scene is in here. Oh, gosh. Yeah, that's one of the fun things about this movie. It's just, there's just so many weird things in it. I know it's just a commercial for, different Nintendo products, but every so often, there's something amazing in it. I just love this movie.
I'm not totally sure that we needed another villain, because we kind of already have our villain that's chasing after them, and then his parents, which are like the unintentional villain. Lucas doesn't really need to be here. He's just, I guess his whole point was to show off the power glove. So bravo, Lucas, you did it. And then he disappears from the movie for a while.
So now we have this wonderful scene where somebody's playing the wonderful game of pressing buttons on their controller. Yeah. But back with our heroes again, and I use that term very loosely, they're having another one of their crises where the people that they got money from are apparently sad, and these people who are, I'm guessing, in high school or probably in their 20s. It's a movie, so if they're in high school, then yeah, they're probably like 25. They decide that they're going to beat up a bunch of kids and get their money back, because that makes sense. And then we find out what's in... Oh, and they steal Jimmy's hat. Like, just everyone here is kind of a dick to these three, but yeah, at least they're together and everything, and hopefully something good happens.
Okay, so this is one of the flaws with this, because you have them constantly making money and then either getting beaten up and having their money stolen from them, or they're flashing around like the $20 that they had back when they were on the in the back of that cattle car, and then their money gets stolen again. This is really probably given some people some bad ideas that they can just hitchhike across the U.S. at the age of 8, or however old they're supposed to be in this, and everything will be fine as long as there are 3 of them. You see, things were a little dicey when it was just 2. Now that there are 3 of them, now it's a movie.
But let's check back in with our creepy villain here. And, he's just going to go around assaulting different children. I mean, he's looking for Jimmy, and he's just kind of freaking out an awful lot. This is where, like, more red flags should have been... I feel like somebody should have intervened. Like, this lady could have done something. I don't know. At least, like, someone eventually steps in. I do have another thing that I want to talk about later, but thankfully, this is all going to work out, but we have our villain who should have just been the main villain the whole time, and we could have never had Lucas, which would have taking a bunch of memes away from us, but, well, whatever. So he tries to steal Jimmy from a very public place, and I feel like he should have actually had something that said that he could, because this is going to happen.
He touched my breast!
What the hell are you doing?
No, I
I
didn't touch anything. You can't hit the kid.
The kid is...
Now, I don't know a whole lot about, the people that go out and, try to return missing children or something like that, like the ones that were actually kidnapped, the people who have been in cults, that sort of thing. But I feel like they should have some sort of documentation or something, or maybe they should be working with the police or something along those lines. I'm kind of surprised that had never happened to this person before. But I'm guessing this was his first case, and hopefully it was his last case, because Jesus Christ has he screwed this thing up. Anyway, yeah, let's move on with the rest of this. I just had to stop here and kind of talk a little bit more about this for a second.
So apparently you don't get held in jail for very long after you try to abduct a kid from an arcade. Sure. And so he goes ahead and tries it again.
Yeah, the creepy guy ends up kidnapping Jimmy after he tracks them down again, because they're not very good at hiding, and, whatever. And his car has gotten way more screwed up, by the way. I've kind of glossed over that, but he has been just getting messed up every time he encounters their real dad and everything. Yeah, this guy's kind of awful at his job. Thankfully, the truckers, who apparently are friends with our heroine, they track this dude down, and they thankfully give him exactly what I think he should have gotten from the very beginning. They don't beat him up as much as they should. They just give him like one black eye. See, here it is. It's kind of funny.
So after the creepy guy gets some of his comeuppance, then they eventually make it to California. But not the California that Jimmy wants to go to, because nobody's bothered to ask Jimmy where in California he wants to go. Because a lot of people in this are stupid. But they do make it to Universal Studios so that they can compete in the Video Armageddon thing. I forgot to mention they were going there to compete in Video Armageddon to get the $50,000 after they find out that Jimmy is some video game savant because he beat the girl in Double Dragon, which I'm confused by, but whatever. I guess he just got farther than she did and scored more points. Nintendo and the people who made this film were really banking on the fact that people still cared about high scores.
So here we are, everyone. Video Armageddon! They're playing Super Mario 3. They didn't know that at the time, which was kind of cool, and I guess this was sort of the main marketing thing for it. I'm going to level with you guys. I had absolutely no idea this movie existed until the internet came around. Never saw an ad for it that I can remember, had no real understanding that this was even around. Didn't know that it was actually a giant product placement thing for Nintendo. Now that I've watched it a few times, yeah, it kind of was. I still think this is a fun movie. I love Jimmy in this, and I love Nora too. I think her name is Nora. It'll show it a little bit. I wish the whole movie had been Jimmy and her just going across the country to get to this point. Yeah, but oh well. Oh, Mora. I'm sorry. Mora. She's probably one of the best people in this. Like, I was so happy that she made it to the finals. Like, I care less about Lucas. I was sort of happy about Jimmy. But I was really... See, she's so happy. They say just a lot of stupid crap here. The things that they're saying don't make a whole lot of sense. The scoring doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's just kind of, kind of there. Yeah, Jimmy jumps ahead to, World 4. It's so strange. I don't really know what's happening. The scenes don't make a whole lot of sense. But yeah, Mora loses, like badly, I guess, and Jimmy ends up winning. Sure, why not? I mean, that was gonna happen anyway, but hey,
So the
it's
movie's
a
over,
happy
Jimmy
ending.
wins the 50 grand, everything is awesome, the world has been set right, everything is perfect now. Aside from the plot that actually should have mattered this whole time, where Jimmy was upset because he wanted to go back to where his dead sister was, like one of his happiest memories with his dead sister. And it's basically a tourist trap in California where they have all these dinosaurs. And then he goes there, leaves his box of all of his memories of her and everything to kind of give himself closure. Again, I feel like anybody in his family could have just asked Jimmy if that's what he wanted to do, and I feel like Jimmy probably could have articulated that, and they could have just gone there and done that, but then Nintendo wouldn't have been able to push their products on us, because that was all okay back in the 80s.
So I guess I should probably give just my final thoughts on the film. It was fun. This really is a fun movie. It's got a lot of weird stuff in it. It's got some goofiness to it. I feel like they just tried to do too much. It did end up giving us the Nintendo World Championship, so that was kind of cool. It's just kind of weird, though. They try to do too many things. I think there were too many villains in this. There was way too much going on. It felt like, yeah, it was kind of weird. They did sort of... I don't think they went as overboard with the product placement as they could have. Yeah, you have the Play Choice 10 in there. You've got the Power Glove. They mention all of the NES games. They talk about Ninja Gaiden. They talk about a couple of other things. And obviously the final is Super Mario 3. I don't think they really went crazy with it. Oh yeah, and you've got the dad from My Name is Earl. He plays the NES for a bit, and so does the other guy whose name I can't remember. That was kind of fun. Or at least they act playing it, which I still find hilarious because they're just tapping buttons. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. This is a fun movie. It really is. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you actually knew this movie was out back in the 80s, definitely let me know. Because again, I had no idea. So anyway, I just hope you guys all have a good night. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.